What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. Don't forget to check out tonight's episode of Community Notes over on the Community Notes channel. It's Sydney Watson and myself's podcast every Thursday at 5 o'clock. Would love to see you there. TikTok looks to have made some stunning admissions today while testifying on Capitol Hill about the ban in America. Doesn't make them look too good. On top of that, new studies show that over 40% of Americans support the outright ban. Now, I am one of those Americans that do support the outright ban of TikTok, at least temporarily, until we can have better safeguards in place for Americans' data, because in today's, some of the admissions they made today were exactly what we all expected or suspected that they would be doing with it. And it's much deeper than just TikTok. It's any of the apps coming out of the CCP. And we're going to get into all that after a super quick word from this video's sponsor, Sheath. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor. That's right, Sheath. These boxers are designed to keep your balls off your legs. Sheath has 3 individual compartments to keep everything down there separate and cool and comfortable. And hey, since they've been a long-time sponsor, I've heard from many of you who have tried out Sheath and really love it. They were invented by a U.S. Army soldier who came up with the idea for Sheath during his second tour in Iraq, where it was hot as heck and his boys needed to breathe. And on top of all sorts of awesome designs for Sheath, they've added all sorts of winter items, hoodies, gator necks, and all sorts of base layers. Head on over to the link in the description and pin comment down below. Use my promo code to save and support the channel and keep everything nice, cool, and dry. I know it's like weird to think about trying new undergarments, especially for the fellows out there, but you've got absolutely nothing to lose. And I really think you're going to like them if you give them a try. They've been a long-time supporter of the channel, and I support their products very strongly and their ownership, and so give them a try. Now, House lawmakers eviscerated TikTok CEO over harmful content and national security risks posed by the popular video sharing app during tense hearings on Washington on Thursday. And I've got a couple clips from this. During one of the emotional outbursts, Representative Gus Rakis, I'm totally sure, confronted Chu about a 16-year-old who's no longer with us anymore because of TikTok promoting videos on such things, allegedly. Her parents, who have filed a wrongful suit against TikTok's parent company ByteDance, were in tears as he played similar videos for attendees during the House Energy and Commerce Committee hearing chaired by Kathy McMorris Rogers. Mr. Chu, your company destroyed their lives. Chu described the passing of their daughter as devastating and tragic. We do take these issues very seriously, and we provide resources for anyone of that type in anything, self-hurt related. In another tense exchange, Representative Kat Kamek played a TikTok video showing, something, and me, ASF at the House Energy Commerce Committee, and then tagging McMorris Rogers. She alleged the video was published the morning before the hearing was publicly announced and that had been online for 41 days without action from TikTok. It's a direct threat to the chairwoman of this committee, the people in this room, and yet still remains on the platform. Kamek said, "You expect us to believe that you're capable of maintaining the data security of 150 million Americans when you can't even protect the people in this room." Chu asked to respond to the video, but was cut off by the chairwoman. Chu's closely watched appearance comes as lawmakers from both parties push for a nationwide ban on TikTok due to national security concerns. Critics have alleged that China can use the platform to snoop on more than 150 million Americans, which we know they have done, and they made several admissions today. Quote, "I have seen no evidence that the Chinese government has access to the data," the CEO said. "They have never asked us. We've never provided. I've seen no evidence of that happening." Earlier Thursday, China said it would firmly oppose calls for TikTok's parent company to divest its ownership stakes or be banned in the United States, a declaration that raised fresh concern about Beijing's role in the company. The packed hearing began with scathing remarks from McMorris Rogers, who immediately expressed her support for the TikTok ban while blasting the platform's ties to the CCP. Now I'm going to show you a couple of the clips here after this. "We do not trust TikTok will ever embrace American values," McMorris Rogers said. "TikTok has repeatedly chosen the path for more control, more surveillance, more manipulation. Your platform should be banned," she added. The chair also alleged that TikTok has repeatedly been caught in the lie that it does not answer to the CCP through ByteDance. Chu, who waffled between defiance and contrition in his first appearance on Capitol Hill, said he takes the U.S. government's concerns about national security very, very seriously and was committed to keeping the content free from any manipulation from any government. Did you, though? The TikTok CEO touted his company's $1.5 billion effort to protect and store U.S. data on American soil through a partnership with Oracle, an initiative known internally as Project Texas. TikTok is willing to offer third-party monitoring of our source code to reassure lawmakers, Chu said. There are more than 150 million Americans who love our platform, and we know we have a responsibility to protect them. But did you? Chu irritated lawmakers from both parties with evasive responses to some questions, often declining to answer yes or no queries, or telling lawmakers that he would need to follow up with a written response after the hearing. Chu's assurances about U.S. data protection practices failed to convince lawmakers. The committee's ranking member, Representative Frank Pallone, was among those who argued that TikTok's partnership with Oracle was not a real security or privacy concerns. I still believe that the Beijing Communist government will still control and have the ability to influence what you do. Pallone said, this Project Texas is simply not acceptable. You can see here, I want to bring this, here's a clip. Here, one thing, ByteDance confirmed it used TikTok to monitor journalists' physical location by using their IP address. I mean, that doesn't exactly sound like a company that is, concerned about our rights. This is back from late December. An internal investigation by ByteDance, the parent company of video sharing platform TikTok, found that employees tracked multiple journalists covering the company, improperly gaining access to their IP addresses and user data in an attempt to identify whether or not they had been in the same locations as ByteDance employees. So that would tell you that they probably also are tracking via IP the locations of their own employees. According to materials reviewed by Forbes, ByteDance tracked multiple Forbes journalists as part of a covert surveillance campaign, which was designed to unearth the source of leaks inside the company following a drumbeat of stories exposing the company's ongoing links to China. As a result of the investigation into the surveillance tactics, ByteDance has fired Chris Lepetak, its chief internal auditor, who led the team responsible for them. The China-based executive Song Ye, who Lepetak reported to and reported directly to ByteDance CEO Rubo Lang, resigned. I mean, this was in December. This wasn't 10 years ago. Here's one tense exchange.
How you can actually say, and you spoke in your opening statement about a firewall relative to the data, but the Chinese government has that data. How can you promise that that will move into the United States of America and be protected here?
Congresswoman, I have seen no evidence that the Chinese government has access to that data. They have never asked us. We have not provided.
Well, you know what? I find that actually preposterous.
I have looked in. I have seen no evidence of this happening. And in order to assure everybody here and all our users, our commitment is to move the data into the United States to be stored on American soil by an American company, overseen by American personnel. So the risk will be similar to any government going to an American company asking for data. If that...
How?
It's funny that even Democrats... here's a good exchange too from Ms. Kamek out of Florida.
Also, my colleague, Representative Latta, confirmed that your parent company, ByteDance, currently can access user data. Yes?
We have to be more specific.
Yes.
After Project Texas, no.
I'm not asking after Project Texas, I'm asking now. Yes.
Some user data is public data, Congresswoman, which means
you
everybody can search.
What's
for it on the
interesting
internet.
to me is that you've used the word transparency over a half a dozen times in your opening testimony and subsequently again in your answers to my colleagues. Yet the interesting thing to me is that ByteDance, your parent company, has gone out of their way to hide and airbrush corporate structure, ties to the CCP, the company's founder, and their activities. You can look no further than the fact that ByteDance's website has been scrubbed.
Interesting, right? Very interesting. I mean, and again, this is not new. All of this stuff, Congress members go after TikTok at CEO's hearing, control, surveillance, and manipulation. quote, we do not trust. Here's the other statement I mentioned earlier.
TikTok collects nearly every data point imaginable, from people's location to what they type and copy, who they talk to, biometric data, and more. Even if they've never been on TikTok, your trackers are embedded in sites across the web. TikTok surveils us all. And the Chinese Communist Party is able to use this as a tool to manipulate America as a whole.
I don't disagree with this. Some stunning admissions, by their CEO. And the other thing is, remember, this is also just what we know now. Multiple times there's been data breaches. The CEO may not even know about that. He literally might not. There might be some secret oversight. The problem is just bigger than simply TikTok. Banning TikTok does not actually divest the Chinese government from getting our data and a variety of other apps that they have that are very popular here in the United States too. You need a stronger plan, but I think a temporary ban of TikTok at minimum. You say, okay, well, Project Texas is going to fix this. All right, well, when you get Project Texas in place and we approve it and we're satisfied, then we will allow TikTok to return to the United States. That seems like such a normal thing to do. But when you're dealing with government, nothing's ever that cut and dry. Nothing's ever that simple. But these are people that have surveyed journalists. These are people that have lied several times in the United States about, whether or not they're recording us, using us. Their CEO is being as slippery as humanly possible here. We know that their algorithm here in the United States is far different than what they show in China, right? And there's a reason for that. We've seen reports over the last few days that their algorithm pushes self-harm videos and all sorts of other stuff to people within 10 clicks of being on their site in some cases. We know the kind of brightly colored hair weirdos that flourish on Twitter. I believe that they are pushed by their algorithm to erode Western values. That's my opinion. I can't know that for sure, but I don't really see any reason why we can't at least temporarily ban it until such a point where we're satisfied with security. Seems like an easy thing to do. What do you think? You let me know in the comment section down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.